morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're at, ladies and gents. I am Kura Isagami, your resident tinkerer and Medarotter, and this is the Medarot News Network, bringing you all the latest developments and happenings with our favorite pet-fighting robot series. Now this week it looks like we're taking to the stars yet again, as it seems Navi is a personal favorite of developers over at Imagineer, something of which I'm sure a good chunk of us will very happily agree with and stand on board with. As this week we're getting not one, but two new models being introduced to the game, one of which has never before ever seen 3D before the time of today, and that is the original penultimate boss of the game of Medarot Navi, Zero Suicide, the combined celestial fossil type, as you see here. Not just this, it looks like we're going to be celebrating the game of Medarot Navi all through the entirety of the month of September, and this is just the beginning of what very likely will be a very big and very celestial body and astronomically oriented kind of event. That being said though, let's go ahead and jump right into what was announced for this week, of course, starting with the Gacha Banners, and boy do we actually have a good chunk of them this week to start us off on a really strong foot. The first of which, of course, is the main bot of the hour, KOL00 Suicide, the original penultimate final boss from Medarot Navi, with a kit of Zero Gravity, Thord, Needle Guard, multi-ped legs, and the leg ability of High Fly. Now, Zero Suicide is packing a brand new skill and the first ever instance of a non-collab leg ability of High Fly. For those that are out of the loop or not quite sure, need a refresher, High Fly grants a 30% boost to all leg stats, but takes, of course, times 2.5 damage from any incoming gravity weaknesses. Zero Gravity, on the other hand, is a brand new ailment being introduced into the game with Zero Suicide, and true to the name, Zero Gravity simply will turn all leg matches of the target to D rank, no matter where they're at. This means that no matter what terrain they're on, even if they're on cyber or terrain of choice, with S rank to give them all the stats they need, one swipe of this bad boy and they are crawling to on all fours or on any kind of appendage they may have, with the worst possible leg matchup for as long as the ailment sticks around. With the addition of Zero Suicide, however, we're also getting the introduction officially of NAV0 Navi Kamu, the Navigator type also debuted from Medarot Navi, with a kit of Cooler Plant, Double Power Link, Float Legs, and the leg ability of Auto Repair. Now, for those that do know of what Navi Kamu is capable of, or even saw her in later titles like 8 and 9, Navi Kamu is also capable of meta-changing, though her kit doesn't really change all that much, going instead to Charge Plant, maintaining Double Power Link, Biped Legs, and then changing leg ability to Charm. To explain Power Link briefly as well, since it is considered a new skill to the realm of Medarot S, upon use, it will grant the heat and cool stats of Navi Kamu's arm, whichever she uses, to the ally of choice. This means that it can get an absolutely immensely powerful speed boost, especially for parts that are really slow on the uptake or on the cooldown, such as, say, Hyper Beam, or Beam Sword, or Ghost, or Ghost Shot. Things that have a really low heat or cool will now accelerate like lightning the moment Navi Kamu steps into the fray and grants them some of her overall speed. With the addition of the two main bots of the week, we're also getting a pretty fair number of reruns, mostly highlighting, of course, on the Zodiac series, also from Medarot Navi. As you see here, we're seeing an all-star cast of Gacha Banners being rerun, starting, of course, with Ellie0 Leo with Hyper Beam, Double Missile, Multi-Legs, and the G-Control leg ability, SCP-01 Scorpio with Hyper Crept, Bug, Virus, also multi-ped legs, and the Breakneck leg ability, TRS-0 Taurus with Desperate, Double Virus, and Dead or Alive, also capable of transforming, featuring skills like Pile and Blow Away while transformed in a flight-based form, CNC-0 Cancer with Disturbance, Laser, Napalm, Multi-Legs, and the Nest leg ability, and then last but not least, my personal sign, ironically, PSC-0 Pisces with Field Control, Double Charge Strain, Sea Legs, and the leg ability of Straight. Also capable of transforming into a bipedal-based form featuring Freeze and Thunder, and with biped legs and Primacy as well, making her basically a stand-in for Cameo Stag for anyone that does find in need of a stun locker on the team. Now, much like it was with Zero Suicide and Navi Kamu, all 5 of these bots as well are great to have in one form or another. Leo for the G control legs, Scorpio pretty much for anything honor you really can't go wrong with, Taurus if you need someone that can deal with both enemy manipulation and stun and turn skipping, Cancer for the ever-loving daylights out of disturbance and nest, and of course Pisces if you do enjoy your fair share of stun locking, as long as you can get to the line fast enough to transform and use it. So really, you can't go wrong with any of the Gacha banners this week, being completely real with you. You could honestly pick one and go for it and really not see any major drawback depending on who you pick. However, I will also take a minute to notice just briefly that Navi, Kamu, Taurus, and Pisces are also transforming meta change type bots, so if you do decide to go after any one of them, do be prepared for a rather unforgiving Gacha banner, as you'll either get the whole set or you don't, and essentially burn more rubies than you need. With the Fierce battles we have this week, we are once again also sticking with the theme of Medarot Navi, and spearheading this week will be LVB-03 Ptolemy with Scope, Rifle, Gatling, Biped legs, and the Gunman leg ability. PCP-0 Warheadley right after her with Optic Guard, Double Napalm, Tank legs, and the Heavy Arm leg ability. And then last but not least, LBR-0 Libra with Gravity Guard, Anti-Air, and Anti-Sea, Float legs, and the leg ability of Primacy. Now, being completely honest, all three of these models have something very useful one way or another that you really can't ever go wrong with using. Ptolemy, for instance, with conventional shooting skills for females. Warheadley you may or may not use super often, but Tank legs with heavy arms is certainly a very nice forgiveness to that. And Libra in particular, Float legs with Primacy is niche but nice to have, as well as Anti-Air and Anti-Sea, just for the sake of having it at your disposal just in case you might need it. That being said, though, I would still have to give the MVP of the week to Ptolemy in this case, given that she's just a little better well-rounded in terms of how quickly one can be used fresh out of the box. Plus, the scope ability that she does have grants her basically free pierce damage on her next skill, or whoever she chooses to be the recipient of it, which means for newcomers and rookies who are just starting out and don't have anything capped, this can be a very handy skill to have at your disposal to guarantee that every hit you make counts and is as painful as you can possibly get it early on. Now, we're also getting a limited time rerun of the three Navi's SR Medarots, Kasumi, Shiden, and Hiyori in particular. And just a friendly touch-up on what those three do, Kasumi will fill your charge gauge by 35% for every part broken upon activated on the next turn. Plus, you get an additional 50% to your heat stat upon being activated on that turn. Shiden will buff shoot and melee resist by 50%, but his effect stays as long as the bot that he's on is not attacked. And in addition to this, if the allied bot receiving this buff is bipedal in nature, they will get an additional 50% on top of that, making them even more immensely tanky across the board, and guaranteeing that even if a hit does come after them, it will keep the damage as low as possible until attacked, like I said. Hiyori, last but not least, will reduce damage by 10% upon being activated, and an additional 20% if you are using a healing-based skill. So this will be a really good Medarotter to use on anyone that's using as your healer on the team, such as, say, Saint Nurse, Heal Angel, Blazer Mate, Particle, any kind of healer or someone that is using a healing skill. Not any healing skill across the board, this can be put to very good use to keep damage as low as possible, so that you can keep everyone else alive on the team. Now, in terms of events and everything, we're going to have a pretty busy September, if I'm being completely honest with you, and this is going to be just the beginning of what was announced going forward. With this particular event, we will have the opportunity to challenge and earn limited-time rewards, such as Medarotter Fubuki, another main titular character to the game of Medarot Navi as its head of security, R rank, of course, in her main uniform, as seen and depicted. We have the opportunity to earn CPM-0 Nutscracker with Destroy, Double Effect Clear, Wield Legs, and Forester. But it is also worth noting that for anyone that's been playing longer than a couple years, this isn't the first time we've seen Nutscracker. In fact, this is a repeat reward for all veterans that have been playing for quite some time now. So it is going to be very nice to see a returning event reward, and it does add to the hope that one day they might go back and recycle all the Year 1 event rewards that I've been hearing a lot of complaints about that we have not seen essentially since their events, basically. And that's been a good couple years at the very minimum on top of that. But going forward, through the first half of this event, we can also earn the Master Medal, or Scholar Medal, depending on how you want to look at it, with which sports of mastery in support, healing, and setup, with leg masteries in biped, floating, and sea. And in addition, we can also earn some extra images to put in our image library and other rewards on top of that. And like I said, this is just the first half of this event. And that being said, on the topic of how to earn the rewards themselves, the event itself will be ticket-based this time. That means mixed parts are encouraged. Sporting the blue ticket bonuses, or blue seeds I believe they're going to be in this particular event. Navi Kamu at a +3 per part in particular, +2 at any of the Zodiac bots mentioned, as well as Anzudo Beetle and Cameo Stag specifically, as well as the Fierce Battles at +1 each. Same thing for the Medarots at +2 for rare rank, and rank at +1 each for Fubuki, or any of the 3 Space Robo Generals that you see here. And then for the silver bonuses, as you see here, Zero Suicide will be spearheading that bonus at a +3 per part equipped, and then Kasumi and Hiyori at a +3 for the Medarots respectively for these bonuses. Now again, because it is mixed parts, I do encourage that if you do, say, collect Zero Suicide, don't use them as a pure set, spread the parts out across the team to maximize your bonuses, to guarantee that you can get at the most a +9, excluding Medarot bonuses of course, of the silver ticket bonus, which is usually the harder one to collect. Something else to mention, and you're probably asking why Anzudo Beetle and Cameo Stag are being featured as well in this event, and part of that is actually because after a long period of waiting, Cameo Stag is finally getting her turn with the tune-up treatment. And a lot of her main bonuses include boost to her power, her heat or cool, or most importantly, extended duration of the ailments that she deals. This means that instead of being stunned for say 1.5, 2 turns, 2.5 maybe if you're lucky, this may be lasting closer to 3 or 4 laps back and forth before it eventually wears off, which will buy you even more time to breathe and recuperate if you're going up against someone that's particularly keeping you on the ropes and testing your strategy to its limits. But with that also being said, since I actually have not done a tune-up video in a while, do stay tuned as after this video goes live as well on my channel, and you'll see my breakdown of her tune-up treatment and her bonuses, and see just which ones are worth going after and investing in the long run. One other thing to mention as well, as much like it was with the Medarot 8th anniversary this week, we are also getting a Medarot Navi BGM purchasable bundle pack that can be bought in the convenience store. And some of the tracks on here include themes like Fog Alert and Over Rough Waves, which are both row battle themes from the original game. Customize, which is the Medarot theme, and then Cluster as well, among a number of other very notable tunes from the game of Medarot Navi. And I am suspecting that we may or may not see another bundle here sometime in the next week or so, depending on what they release, so only time will tell if that is accurate. For those that do want to purchase this bundle, typically it's no more than about $20 tops, essentially, in terms of US dollar compared to yen, which really isn't too bad if I'm being honest with you. So if you do find yourself in need and interested in collecting some more row battle BGMs, this is most certainly going to be a bundle you don't want to miss out on. Lastly, when it comes to all game-related news, we also got our first teaser at the new online PvP skins to be earned and collected through the month of September. This month, we are highlighting a Blazer-styled Blazer Mate, a Benimaru-styled Anzudo Beetle, and a Bison-styled Cameo Stag. So not only is Cameo Stag getting a tune-up skin this week, but also a Bison-styled skin on top of that. Whereas Anzudo Beetle will also be getting a bonus skin, leaving them both at a match of 2 each. And the more uniform style on Blazer Mate is most certainly a very cute and adorable appearance, and very interesting if I'm being real with you, as I'm kind of used to seeing a very blocky nature with her design, so this is a very nice change of pace too. Just as a reminder for those that are not sure how to collect these, you can earn parts for these or chances at the skins in the online PvP specifically. So these will be staying through all through the month of September, as are Gacha Banners specifically for Blazer Mate, Anzudo Beetle, and Cameo Stag as well. So if you do find yourself in need of 1, 2, or even all 3 of these models, this is most certainly your chance to capitalize on that as well. Because really with any of these 3 models, you really can't ever go wrong one way or another. Blazer Mate for all-round healing, especially very early on, or Anzudo Beetle or Cameo Stag for tune-up treatments, since now both of them officially have it. On the community front, we are still constantly looking for translators, cleaners, and coders to assist us with any projects and fan translations we have ongoing. Right now, the main projects ongoing right now is the Medarot 3 and Medarot 4 translations. 3 currently is probably close to 75, 80 or so % right now, but still has a lot of text that needs cleaned and translated before being injected back in the game. Medarot 4, on the other hand, is still undergoing early decompilation to kind of figure out what's going on, to kind of get it prepared for injection and translation, much like it was with Medarot 3. So if you are knowledgeable in coding or cleaning or Japanese and have some time on your hands, we are more than appreciative of any efforts that you'd be willing to provide, or if you know someone you can send our way, definitely do so. Reach out to me or join our Discord in the link provided below, and we can get you in touch with the right people to fill you in on what has been done and what still needs done up to this point. With the weekly art highlights here on the MNN, it most certainly was not hard to find a lot of Medarot Navi style art, given the release and reveal of Zero Suicide and Navi Kamu this morning. But this piece in particular here by Twitter user Yuki25Y, this is actually the phone screen version. They actually had a much wider version as well on their page, sporting a very beautifully designed and colored art piece of Leah 2 in particular. And on the full screen full screen piece, she's actually tuning a guitar on there. So wonderful work. I actually have that right now as my phone wallpaper right now because I do love it so much. And if you are watching me and you do decide to look into it, I certainly would not say no if you decided to do a Shushu Pop or Shushu Pop 2 wallpapers in the same manner if you're not doing so already. And then this one here by Twitter user Mechano Factory, highlighting everyone's favorite small little navigator and cutie patootie, Navi Kamu. With a very small and cute design, it's honestly very weird to see how she'd be classified as a Medarot in the first place. But then when she transforms and then takes the field with Power Link, her usefulness on the field as a very dominant support-based fighter makes her role very, very clear on the battlefield from start to finish. So wonderful work to the both of you, and definitely give both of these people a follow if you'd like to see more Medarot art in your feeds. But with all that being said, I do believe that covers everything for this week's episode, so as always, I do appreciate you all for stopping by, just as you always do. And if you'd like to know more, you can follow us below on Facebook at the Medarot News Network page, or the Metabots Forever community on there that I do also run where I can, and keep particularly active. You can also join us on Discord in the link provided and in the comments below, and this will allow you to keep an even closer ear to the ground on the action. This includes any new merchandise, fan art, my weekly episodes, translation updates or announcements, or even anything else that we do plan to do through the future. That's the first place you're going to hear it before anything goes anywhere else whatsoever. You can also reach out to me personally on Twitter at Itsugamikura, so if you have any questions or feedback or comments, or would love to just stop in and say hello, I leave my DMs open for that very reason. So don't be a stranger, stop on in and say hi, and I'll get to you when I can. In addition to this, if you're a streamer, VTuber, or YouTuber and would love to collaborate with me sometime, whether that means having you here on my channel as a guest host, or me stopping in on yours for a friendly chat or a game or a shared game or party or whatever, I would absolutely love to coordinate with you. So feel free to reach out to me as well, and we can most certainly coordinate schedules and make something happen. Lastly, do give these wonderful friends of mine a follow in the community as well. Lux at Medarot Lux on Twitter as well, who does a lot of outside looking in blog posts on their opinions on the development of Medarot S, or just their overall feelings on where they feel that development for the game should go. This includes their feelings on new skills or new mechanics that are being overhauled or implemented, how they think it's going to change or maintain the meta or whatever. Very informal and very insightful information that you really can't ever go wrong with looking for if you are a veteran or even a new player of Medarot S. Definitely give Medarot Lux a follow. And then my buddy Twitter user MoenCHSci, which is the unofficial Medarot fan club fan account that is also run on Twitter, that does a lot of occasional art in their free time, but also make sure they do what they can to post a lot of Medarot art from the community as well. This includes garage kits that are very, very frequent on Twitter, fan arts, my weekly episodes, or anything else that's of value worth announcing in the community. You'll definitely get a follow as well by keeping them in your feeds. But with all that being said, as always, I do appreciate you all for stopping by, just as you always do. And until next time, this is your host, Kura Isagami of the Medarot News Network, signing out.